From the writers and producer of Good Will Hunting, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Chris Moore.
This is where my quest starts.
Stolen Summer. The movie critics call funny, sweet, and moving.
Lord's name in vain. Come here, mister. Don't you talk like that, you little son of a... We're on our way to church.
This is Pete O'Malley.
How many times have I had to pull you by your ears to the front of the class and give you the ruler?
A lot.
And he's on a quest.
So you're actually going to the temple?
Yeah.
You know, this whole thing's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, then what do they call you?
Well, my son calls me Dad, and my congregation calls me Rabbi.
Jewish people can't go to heaven. Why not? If you're interested, maybe I could help you get to heaven. So when can we start?
What are you doing?
It's like picking up a phone and calling God.
Let's maybe do this less. As in, not at all.
The story of two boys who teach their parents the value of friendship.
I believe your quest is good.
And the power of families coming together. Aidan Quinn.
You want to make out?
Bonnie Hunt.
With you?
Kevin Pollak.
All he's doing is asking people to think.
And Brian Dennehy.
Thanks, Father. You cleared up quite a few things for me.
Come here.
No.
Come here. Honey, I'm not going to hit you. I just want to tell you. You shouldn't talk like that.
Stolen Summer.
Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of the Happiest Cast on Earth. I am your host, as always, Ryan Johnson. Joining me today is, nobody. Yeah, it's just me here today. So if you enjoyed my guests more than me, sorry. But my guest sadly couldn't make it here today, so it's just me here to talk about a movie you've never heard of. So hopefully that won't be too bad for you guys. But anyways, what am I here to talk about here today? Well, this is actually very thematically appropriate, but we'll figure out why it's thematically appropriate just in a minute. Today, we are going to be looking at a Miramax film because I think I forgot to explain what the show is. The Happiest Cast on Earth, where we review anything and everything that was somehow released by the Walt Disney Corporation. I'm your host as always, Ryan Johnson. Sorry, I was a little preoccupied over the fact that we had zero guests today in the studio, so here I am today, all by myself. But regardless, it's probably going to be a very boring episode. But here I am regardless. Let's go ahead and talk about a Miramax film, because somehow Miramax has shown up the most out of any of the little divisions of the Disney Corporation on this show. I believe this is our fourth. No, not our fourth. Our fifth Miramax film, fourth or fifth, because previously on this show we have looked at The Thief and the Cobbler, Disputed, and Bad Santa. So this is the fourth time, I believe so, that we have in fact looked at a Miramax production. In retrospect, I probably should have looked this up beforehand, but it's okay because I'm looking it up now. This is how I get to stall an hour of my time because, oh boy, guys, the movie that we are here to talk about today, I gotta tell you, it's a doozy. It is the textbook definition of a doozy. It's such a doozy. It's practically a doozer from a doozer from Fraggle Rock. Oh, how did I forget about Dracula 2000? That was a good episode, the Dracula 2000 episode. So this is the fifth time we've looked at a Miramax movie. I just couldn't remember what the fourth one was. So Miramax has pretty much been the king of this program, which is awesome because Disney briefly owning Miramax was basically the reason I created this show. It's just funny to me, but anyways, I'm stalling, but for good reason. because today we are going to be taking a look at a little indie film that Miramax released in 2002 called Project Greenlight's Stolen Summer. Now, I have never heard of this movie before my wheel of names that selects everything I talk about decided to make me do this. But I've also never heard of Project Greenlight before. So Project Greenlight is apparently a reality show about that it's about amateur filmmakers. It airs on Discovery, I believe, or HBO, one of the two, and it was produced by Miramax Television. And I guess the creators of that made this little indie movie. So this is what we get. And Miramax also released this, and I knew I was in trouble right from the start because the opening credits were in Comic Sans. So that should just give you a bit of a sign on what I had to deal with this freaking movie. But I also knew for a fact that I probably wasn't going to have the best time when I read the little one sentence synopsis available on Amazon Prime. Sorry, I just bumped the mic. And it mentioned that this little Catholic boy is trying to convert a dying Jewish boy with leukemia. And I was like, oh no. Oh no. Christ. Literally. Oh. This was a treat. This was a joy because I feel like we got it off a little easy last week with The Little Mermaid. It's time we return to some good old-fashioned crap. And here we are. I just hit the other mic. Oh, Stolen Summer. More like stolen hour and a half. Because that's what it was like when I watched this movie. And I will get deeper into that after this quick little break. So, oh my God, please stay tuned.
It's tough being a college student. Some of us are fresh out of high school, and some of us haven't been exposed to the school scene for a long time. Either way, no student should ever feel afraid or uncomfortable with the environment around them. If you're experiencing difficulties with another student or fear for your safety on campus, you can go online to concord.edu to the Student Life menu and select Office of Public Safety. For more information, contact Campus Police at 304-384-5357. This has been a public service announcement from WVCU.
And now, our feature presentation.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show. So, let's go ahead and talk about Stolen Summer. So, a little bit of my background. I did not grow up Catholic or Jewish. I did, in fact, grow up Baptist, and then my family went to a Pentecostal church, and still do to this day. So, my exact experiences with these specific religions and denominations are basically non-existent. I believe I've only ever set foot inside of one Catholic church and have never even been to a synagogue. So my apologies. But either way, let's go ahead and talk about this movie. So the film takes place in the 70s, and I kind of had to remind myself that the movie took place in the 70s because there's not a whole lot of like things from the 70s in this movie. It's mainly just it takes place in the 70s because it says it does. Because like if this movie was made today, there would be like 70s references just all over the place. But like there isn't. And, you know, with this being a time where people were very much nostalgic for the 1970s, you'd think that there would be. Although maybe the filmmakers couldn't afford to license anything that was really popular in the 70s. But regardless, I feel like this movie could have taken place at literally any time of year, like literally any year, any time period, and the plot wouldn't change at all. I just thought it was interesting. So we followed this like 8-year-old boy named Pete. He goes to this Catholic school. He has a strong Catholic family and has 7 siblings. Yeah, mom and dad, like they have 8 kids. And they're wondering why they're struggling financially. Not to judge, but like maybe just maybe 8 kids are too much. Like, I mean, have as many kids as you want, but like, dear God, I feel like if you can't count the amount of kids you have on one hand, like that's a lot. Like even 5 is pushing it. Like 5 is pushing it. Like my mother grew up in the 70s and like her parents were struggling with 4. Double that. Like double that and send it to the next person in the Catholic Church down the hall. Like, so for whatever reason at this point, the father doesn't go to church with the rest of the family, and I believe the eldest son, they just stay there. And speaking of the eldest son, I do want to quickly mention about Pete's family. The grand majority of his siblings, the grand majority of them, they don't do anything. They do not, in fact, drive the plot forward at all. So it makes you wonder, why does he even have this many siblings? Is it just to like further emphasize how bad financially they are? Well, not really, because like you can get that message across with like 3 kids, because the only one of his siblings that really do anything is his brother that's a little about the same age as him, and the eldest son. But even then, the younger brother kind of disappears once the leukemia kid shows up. So the brother's kind of out of the picture, and then it's mainly focused on those 2 kids and the eldest brother, and then the rest of the siblings just don't exist. They don't even go to any of like the big event. They don't even go to the funeral at the end of the movie. Which, by the way, there's a funeral at the end of the movie. Sorry, spoilers for this movie you've never heard of. But, anyways, regardless, this little boy, this little Catholic boy, Pete, he goes to a Catholic school, obviously, since he's a Catholic, and the nun is just straight up telling him that he's going to go to hell because he wasn't fully paying attention in class. Which, okay, just like religious parents in general, or just like adult authority figures, like don't tell children, like literal children, that they are going to hell. Like, especially if they believe in hell. Like, do not do that to a child. Like a grown adult or like an elder teenager, like sure, why not? But like to a child, that is so screwed up. And like even the movie like knows it's screwed up. And this movie has like has some interesting things to say, I'll tell you that. But so basically he hears this basically the kid not wanting to go to hell because the nun says he's going to hell. That's just a crazy way to start off the movie. He talks to his mom, and the mom tells him about a story about how Jesus converted some Jewish people to, and eventually the kid's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make the Jewish people come to heaven. I'm gonna do that. And immediately you're just sitting there be like, don't try to convert people when they don't want to. That's not a good idea. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Granted, he's just a kid, but I think what's really weird is the fact that all the adults around him just kind of go along with it and just let him do it. Right? I mean, it's not like Pure Flix level bad or anything like that, where like clearly it's like our religion's the right one. Like he's clearly just a kid being a kid. But except it's really not, because I just want to say, like, the kid is not really written like a kid, because as somebody who did grow up in a Christian environment, in a religious environment, specifically a Baptist and Pentecostal, not Catholic, not Catholicism, but still in a godly environment. We did not talk about Jesus every moment and every single second, because that is all this kid does. I swear, literally everything is about Jesus, which, fair. Maybe that's just the thing this kid is really obsessed with. I mean, fair. Like his. I mean, if the kid's like religion is his entire personality at 8 years old, I guess fair. That's a fair thing to do. It's just a weird thing to write a child character around, because a lot of the stuff with like religion in particular, and like trying to convert people to Christianity, I don't know if Catholicism is different, but churches at the very least don't make you do that until at least you're like 12. I just thought that was weird. And I'm just delivering some of my personal experience growing up in church. It was just a little odd to see for me. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. My necklace been messed up this whole time. Like, audio listeners, but my little necklace was kind of messed up. But anyways, at this point, he befriends the local rabbi who looks like Diet Jason Alexander. And I do really like this rabbi. I think he just thinks that Pete's like little quest is cute, and he's just indulging in the kid's behavior. I think that's what it is. But things get crazy, y'all. Things get crazy, Because let me tell you, the kid opens up a lemonade stand and in front of the cathedral, and he's like, you get some free lemonade and you'll go to heaven. So that the Jewish people can go to heaven, and nobody takes his lemonade. And then the secretary walks up to the rabbi and is like, I don't know. And the rabbi's like, I don't care. Let the kid have fun, I guess. So then the rabbi's house burns down. Whoa! It went from 0 to 100 real quick, y'all. Like, wow, holy tough. And the secretary was babysitting. We don't know how the fire got started. She just burnt the house down, I guess. And that secretary dies. The secretary dies in that fire. But the son survives. The son survives. And here's the real kicker about the son. His son, named Danny, has cancer. The son is dying of leukemia. And so Pete takes it unto himself to basically convert this dying Jewish boy so that he could go to heaven. But the thing is, they're 8 and 7, so they don't know how to convert people yet. Oh my God! You can't make this up. Except somebody did make it up and made a movie about it. Meanwhile, he got his parents. Right? The dad is a fireman who saved the little boy, but could not get the secretary. The dad finds out what his son is doing, and his son is like, and the dad's like, hey, son, maybe don't try to convert dying Jewish children. Like, maybe that's a thing you shouldn't be doing. Maybe that's the thing. I don't know, let an adult try and do it, or let just not do it in general. Because, like, okay, this might be a controversial opinion or not, but, like, I feel like converting people, like, people who just straight up do not have a faith in general into your religion, I mean, that's perfectly fine. Like, if everybody doesn't have a problem with that, like, and they're involved in that, doesn't have a problem with it, I see no reason for it. It's kind of weird when you do it for somebody who already has spiritual and religious beliefs. Like, it's weird to convert a Jewish person to Catholicism because you think they're gonna burn in the eternal flames of hell. I shoot me, strike me down, but just from a human decency perspective and a respectful perspective of other cultures, I think that's weird. And the dad, for all his faults, like, as a person, he recognizes that that's a little weird, and that's like the last thing his son should really be worrying about. Just be a boy. Just be a little boy and play baseball or something. I don't know. Just don't worry about going to hell. But then you put him in a freaking Catholic school to begin with, and you have all the nuns as teachers telling him that he's going to hell just for acting up in class like a kid does, you know? You could get in trouble, but like, don't you think that's a little much? Oh, but I have some stuff to say about this dad. This dad. I'm gonna have to put a pin in this conversation about the dad, because right now we need to go ahead and take a little break. But when we come back, we're going to resume talking about this dad and everything he's doing with his family and all of the weird, stupid stuff that's going on in this film. And y'all, I don't think you're ready. So stay tuned for that. We shall be right back.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
It's fun to listen to WBCU. It's fun to listen to WBCU. Just tune in to 97.7 FM any time of the day or night. You're listening to WBCU.
Welcome back, everybody. I just turned on the wrong mic. Gotta have it. So let's go ahead and talk about this dad. So the dad, he can't afford to pay for his son to go to college. However, this stubborn man won't even let his son work hard to like be able to afford to go to college. And like the Rabbi Jacobson, you know, he shows up and be like, hey, I can give your son a scholarship, you know. But this freaking guy's like, I don't need your pity. I don't need your pity, boy. Get that out of here. And you know, tension is high. Tension is high because Rabbi saw his son Danny doing the little cross thing before dinner instead of praying in Hebrew. And you know, our dad, Pete's dad, I forgot his name, but Pete's dad heard Pete ask him if Jesus is the Son of God, which is something we've never saw up till that point. We only heard about it, but we never saw that happen. You can't just say something happened and then you just don't show it. This ain't a book. This ain't a play. This is a movie. You show that crap. You show that thing that allegedly happened. Just show it, man. I know it's an indie movie. But show it. It was probably a deleted scene. But regardless on the situation, I want to quickly divert from talking about the dad real quick and instead talk about how this movie is structured just in general. This movie feels like it was written by Grammarly. Like, you know, it feels like they wrote up just like a normal screenplay on how people would like naturally talk. And then they just like Grammarly fix everything and made everything sound more like an essay. Like, if that makes any sense to anybody. But like, let me just find something. Let me just find something, like a quote that I think best describes this. I thought I wrote it down, but apparently I was wrong. It was like, it was like something like the freaking Pete. He said, "Is my grounding over?" Instead of just saying, "Am I still grounded?" You see how more natural the latter sounded as opposed to the former? That's this whole movie. That's all the dialogue in this film is like that. Everything. Like, everything is like that. So, yeah, as little old Fred, not Fred, a little old Pete, a little old Danny are, keep in mind, not playing together. He like, Pete's trying to get this sick kid he doesn't know to go to heaven. Like, as a child himself, I don't know, it's kind of weird. And lo and behold, their parents don't want them to do it because you're converting my child. Like, apparently they're converting each other. Who would have guessed? But weirdly enough, it's actually more so Pete's dad who has a problem with it. I think that the rabbi is just glad that his son has a friend. But regardless, they're forbidden from seeing each other from Pete's father. And so the two of them have like a big argument how their little quest, will never be finished. And so, however, the dad gets a change of heart because the mom basically sits him down and says, "I am going to leave you if you don't fix this. If you don't let our eldest son get that scholarship, and if you don't let Pete be friends with his little Jewish friend, I'm going to leave you." Which, that's how you settle everything in a marriage, right? That's how you settle everything. Just threaten to leave. Don't try to like talk it out like rationally. Just threaten to leave, and everything will be okay. That's how you do it. Do it with all your relationships. So he gets a change of heart. He gives his own son a beer at the end of the movie. And he's like, "You don't act like you've never had one before." But the thing about the shot is that we clearly see him with a beer in hand, like, during the beginning of the scene. And the beer disappears, and the dad hands him the beer again. Like what do you mean? You just had one. You were drinking with your old man, and now suddenly the beer is just here. Like, what's going on in here, man? Where'd that beer come from? The beer that transcends time and space, right over here. Just a few weird things I'd like to point out. The dad just generally is a crappy person, yet he makes like legitimately really good points about converting people of other faiths. Like, they have their own belief of what heaven is like, and there's really nothing wrong with that, so just let them be it. But like, everything else about them just kind of sucks. Also, while these kids are having their little training at the beach, these grown women walk up to them and say, "Oh God, I'm gonna cringe just reading this." They seem to be starting younger and younger these days. I know of some other people who probably aren't going to heaven right there. During this exchange, they also reference Bruce Jenner. She was Bruce at the time. Just thought I'd let you know that. Anyways, so moving back, I want to quickly address this with their final altercation because I forgot to mention it earlier. How did Danny just get in the house? How did he just walk into Pete's house like that? Because I want you to keep in mind, his parents don't want, because Danny's parents don't want him going over there because, well, Pete's dad kind of forbid it. Because, his parents think that he's sleeping right now. And Danny is there at that house. There's, again, we have established earlier that there are 10 people who live in that house. Somebody should have been able to spot that kid. And the kid just kind of walks into the room and isn't spotted by anybody. And it's pretty, and at this point, Pete is grounded, and so naturally somebody, an adult, has to be there. Did he just sneak by them? Would have been nice if the movie showed us if he did that. But anyways, we then move forward to where Pete breaks into his church so he can grab the communion bread so that they can finish his little training or his quest. The priest is like, hey, you can't really do that because the Jewish people have their own rules and their own rituals. Plus, we have people that can do that. But I guess he was like, okay. Yeah, the kid just breaks into the church and almost steals from a church. And is like, hey. And the friggin' priest is like, you know what? That kid's alright. Now get out of here and go to that hospital unsupervised. So yeah, he goes to the hospital unsupervised because Danny has had to go through more treatment. His cancer's coming back. And he wants to finish the quest because Danny is pretty much dying, and we don't know if he's going to be old enough to properly participate in communion. Danny dies. Oh, did not think the movie would actually have the nerve, if you will, to just kill off the kid with leukemia. Maybe there'd be a little happy ending with oh, the leukemia's gone, he's fine. But no, the rabbi breaks down crying. The kid's distraught too. Pete's distraught. It would be better if he was acted better. Yeah, that's one more thing. The acting in this movie is freaking abysmal. I know indie film and all, they're just kids. But this is some bad child acting, especially from Pete. And where Pete is the lead, and you were spending all of your time with him, it's bad. So the funeral happens, and eventually Pete and his dad have this little talk on how you don't necessarily have to be a Jesus believer to go to heaven, really. You just have to live by his teachings and just be a little good person. And you know what? I don't have a problem with that philosophy at all, because that's the philosophy that I was always raised on, where yeah, just being a devout believer in Christ is not the default way to get to heaven. You also gotta work for it. You gotta work to be a good person in life and to live by the teachings he taught during his time on earth. And a lot of people end up doing that without realizing it and without believing that he was the Son of God, like the Jewish people and a lot of atheists out there. And that's pretty much, I think that's what this movie has been trying to say the whole time. But that message just kind of comes out of nowhere. And even though I agree with the general message at the end of the movie, it was told in such a sloppy manner. It is like, the morals of this movie are so sloppily put together, and everything in general about the movie is just so sloppy. I'm a little forgiving because it is an indie film, and as a filmmaker myself, yes, sometimes, especially on your first time, stuff ain't gonna make any sense. But if I were to quickly just go over how I would probably prefer to see this happen, it would probably be more cliche or predictable, but it would have been easier for a first time filmmaker to do. It would have been probably a better, more wholesome story, more inspiring story if Pete and Danny just became friends. They just want to be friends, instead of the whole, I'm going to convert this dying child. Because what trying to convert somebody specifically who is dying, what that does, because when somebody is dying, what you need to be doing in that situation is to be there for them. You need to be there for them every step of the way, whatever they need. But if all you're doing is trying to convert them to your faith just before they die, that makes you look like a narcissist. You're trying to make this about yourself when you should be focused on your dying friend or your dying loved one. And that's what constantly rubbed me the wrong way when Pete was doing this throughout the movie. And that's why the movie was just about their friendship, and maybe the parents had an issue with them because they're two different religions. That probably would have been a better movie-going experience for me, but that's not the movie we got. And so, for that reason, on a scale of 1 to 5, I'd have to give this a 2. It had potential to be something really good. I feel like if the movie went the way that I just described it, it probably would have been a classic. But sadly, it ended up being a forgotten mess of a film that may have had some good intentions, but they're so sloppy. But anyway, guys, that will be it for this week's episode of the Happiest Cast on Earth. What do you all think of Stolen Summer? Please let me know. And also, please be sure to follow this show on all the streaming platforms. And by all the streaming platforms, I, of course, mean YouTube and Spotify. And please be sure to check out the new episode of Animal Logic on Weird TV, Friday the 13th, Part 7. And if you want to see more dead little boys named Danny, but significantly younger this time around, please check out Alpha Psi Omega Presents Rabbit Hole. It opens tomorrow as of recording this, February 20th, and will close on February 21st. both nights, 7 p.m. Admission is absolutely free. I'm assistant directing it. It's going to be a great show. We have a great cast, a wonderful crew. So please, if you're in the mood for more dead little boys named Danny after listening to this episode, you're definitely going to enjoy Rabbit Hole, I'll tell you that.
And please be sure to join us next week on the Happiest Cast on Earth, where we will be taking a look at the ABC Weekend Special, Ralph S. Mouse. But until then, I will see you later. Bye!